Well, let's get more on this now. We're joined by Peter Mathews, Professor of Political Science at Cyprus College, and he's joining us live from Los Angeles. Mr. Mathews, always good to have you with us on Al Jazeera. So there has been a lot of talk about that exchange between Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, where she was very critical of his civil rights record. What were the moments that stood out for you in this debate?
Well, that was definitely the top moment because Kamala Harris was the first one to actually take on Joe Biden, who's very well, liked by a lot of voters, Democratic voters, the vice president for President Obama. But she went right to his comments earlier that he would be able to work with anyone, including the segregationists that he worked with, James Eastland, the senator from Mississippi. And that wasn't a very good example for him to give about working with people. He was truly a segregationist, white supremacist senator, and yet Biden used that. And then Harris jumped on it today and said, Vice President Biden, you actually also not just worked with him, but you worked on busing, the issue that really affected her personally. She was a young girl in school, and she was the second class to be integrated in a busing action to bring African-American children to white schools. And Biden had opposed that policy on the federal level. She went right after him on that, and he was quite defensive, and he kind of stuttered a little bit and stammered, couldn't really relate to that fully. Himself.
He really did look unprepared for that. He has been the front runner in the race so far. It is very early days, another 18 months to go. But do you think that his performance tonight, along with not just criticism in the last few weeks over his comments about working with, having a good relationship with segregationist politicians, but the other sort of gaffes that he has been in the media for, will they affect his front runner status?
Well, there's no doubt it's going to have some effect, but how much effect is interesting. It depends on other people and how they handle things. Bernie Sanders was in number 2 in the ratings, and then Elizabeth Warren number 3. But now it looks like Kamala Harris has taken the positive step toward what she did today and showed some leadership. But the key question that Bernie, I think, missed out on is he did not ask Joe Biden who his corporate sponsors are, because Biden has been in politics for a long time and took a lot of money from banks and credit card companies and corporations. And Bernie Sanders' main forte is that he's against corporate monies for the common people. He doesn't accept the money all these years. He could have done that, but I think he held back quite a bit. He's held back a lot.
And as our reporter mentioned, Bernie Sanders did seem to focus his attacks more on the current president, Donald Trump, than on Joe Biden. So we've had the first 2 debates in this very crowded field of 20 candidates. Who would you say are looking the strongest so far after these debates?
I think Elizabeth Warren did quite well yesterday. She wasn't on the stage today, but she's very well yesterday, and she's one of the most intellectual candidates with solid proposals, detailed ones now, and she's gotten a lot more support recently. So I think it's still among Biden, Sanders, Harris, and Senator Warren. So we'll have to see how that shakes out after these 2 debates. And it'll take a few days to see how things go.
A few days at least, I'm sure. Mr. Mathews, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it. That's Peter Mathews live in Los Angeles. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.